and welcome to It's Called Soccer, brought to you by Peloton. Find your push, find your power with Peloton. Don't forget to subscribe to us, Apple Podcasts, YouTube and Spotify. Now today, we're delighted to bring you a really special interview. Gary and I were in New York City just a few weeks ago and we caught up with WWE wrestler, Liverpool fan, general massive football fan, Sheamus. And maybe even more importantly than that, Sheamus taught Gary a few moves.
From Dublin, Ireland, weighing in 267 pounds, Sheamus!
There's only one place to start.
Okay. Oh God.
You know where I'm starting, don't you?
Do you know where Gary's about to start?
No, I don't actually.
I'd like to be able to do something about this quote, but I can't. Looking at
What?
he said, I can't stand him.
Oh yeah.
This is you about me. I can't stand him. He looks like he's chewing a mouthful of bees. And then it goes on, but we don't need to go any further.
When was this?
What,
When
does
was
it get
this? When
worse?
This was, I think, 12, 13 years ago, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does that get worse?
Oh, it gets worse. He goes on to, he's got an opinion, he's big mouth, he annoys me, can't admit when he's wrong. He goes on and on and on. It's a beautiful...
Can you remember what triggered that?
It's a beautiful script. I think it's the fact he's a Liverpool fan, though.
Yeah, but something must have... Yes, I know. But something must have triggered it for that moment for you to just get on there and just start doing that.
He's not going to say sorry, is he? It doesn't look like the type
I'm
of guy...
giving him a chance to explain.
I
Famous.
think we're at the. I believe we're at the O2. O2 wasn't open that long for events, and they had the. Do you remember they had the pictures of, there was you, I don't know who else was there, and you could sit beside it and you were at the commentary desk.
I do remember.
And I was doing one of these. Listen, it's
It's okay.
it was hard being a Liverpool fan 13 years ago. You know what I mean? It's especially when you're kind of like I went to school. I lived through school, schoolmates. Just been under the shadow of Manchester United. It was just terrible, and it's obviously. You have to vent somehow.
And he epitomises everything bad, doesn't he? Growing up
At
with
the time I
United,
did.
Yeah.
at the time, you epitomised everything.
Born and bred there, come through the youth system.
Annoying.
So it's you know what I mean? You probably got Manchester United bed sheets at home, do you? When you go to bed, you know what I mean?
Still
have, yeah.
No, Justin, you actually said that there was another quote that said you wanted to do... What's the name of a kick? A certain kick that you...
Brogue Kick.
Yeah. I'd like to Brogue Kick Gary Neville. Can you just show us what a Brogue Kick is?
Off the ropes now, Brogue Kick! Kaiser is done! Sheamus with the win!
You're not going to sue me, right?
No, we don't do that in America.
Oh, you don't do that? You don't do that in America? So, finish a move for the last, I'm in WWE 17 years. Yeah. So it's basically, it's a jump, they used to call it a pole kick.
Oh, God.
Right, so just stay where you don't move and all that. So basically would be, come in right there and just put it right there,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you
Does that feel good?
I would have felt better if I'd made contact.
No, but you say about the hatred. So when I was 22, 23, I did an interview with a Manchester United fanzine. And it basically, I came up with the reason the song Gary Neville is a Radiate Scousers came from me saying I grew up hating Liverpool. And so that was turned into, the Daily Mirror turned that into a song which said basically he hates Scousers, and that's where the song came from. But my childhood, similar to yours, was ruined by Liverpool. And that was the Rush, Dalglish. So I never saw Manchester United win the league. I went to United first time in 80 until 93, so 13 years from the age of 6 years of age to 19. My whole childhood at school, we never won a league. And there was always false hope. It was always every year, it's our year, the missing piece of the jigsaw, but we never did it. So I do feel it's okay to say that, and I think language is important sometimes in terms of saying you hate someone, because I'm conscious now that, to be fair, when I go to Liverpool, they've been really good with me, apart from the guy that called me a mank.
You've got to play that to him in a minute.
But I actually think it's actually something that we should never lose from the game, that rivalry.
Absolutely.
But I'm trying to sort of give you an excuse here, but you might just generally hate me.
I'll tell you what, no, I don't hate you, mate. I don't hate anybody, to be honest. I'll tell you where it all comes from. So, I got into football at a late age. All my friends, my dad tried to get me to play Sunday football, and I just wasn't into it. I was kind of I felt like I was kind of took me a little longer to mature in age. So I wasn't really into it. It was always on, like, and I remember Euro '88 is what clicked me in, right? Ireland in Euro '88, and then it was just unbelievable time. Jack Charlton came in. The whole country just became obsessed with football. Ireland's football team wasn't really considered, it wasn't like making the back page. But then when Charlton came in, he changed everything, and then it just became this thing that just took over the country. And then we went to Europe, then we beat England 1-0, obviously the Ray Houghton goal, and then the 1-0 Russia. And then we almost made it to the semis, and then obviously Italia '90 came after that. So it's just this whole kind of culture of football came in, and I got just wrapped up in that. And then as a kid, you kind of like make a decision then. Like there's 3 teams in Ireland at that time that were very popular with kids. It was Liverpool, Manchester United, and Arsenal. Arsenal had David O'Leary, Niall Quinn, and they also Liam Brady had played for them as well, an Irish legend. And then you had Man United, who at the time was Paul McGrath and Frank Stapleton. And then, of course, I had Irwin and Keane after that, but that was after I got into football. But then you had Liverpool with Ray Houghton, Ronnie Whelan, Steve Staunton, and John Aldridge. So for me, I'm looking at Euro '88, and then I'm looking at this team, and there's 4 Irish players. It was just for me, it was just an easy decision to become a Liverpool fan, especially because all the rumours of Paul McGrath getting kicked out, forced out of United and all back in the day. But it just that was the thing. It was like they were the 3 teams that were very popular with kids, very kind of Irish. They had a lot of Irish roots in those teams.
If you'd have been an Irish football fan 5, 6, 7 years later when Roy Keane and Dennis Irwin were playing for United, would you have chosen United?
No.
You can't say
But you know why? Because my dad was a Leeds fan, right?
Okay.
And he hated United. I think that's where
Leeds fans hate United more than Liverpool fans.
So that's the thing, right? I never asked him about this, but anytime they'd be on, he would just lose his mind. He just would totally anti-United, and I didn't really understand. And that's because Leeds were at that time, they were in the 2nd division and Liverpool in the 1st. But I think that's where it comes from. I think that kind of disdain comes from him, because as a Leeds fan, anytime they were on, he was, no matter who they were playing, he was always up for their team. So I think that's kind of where, but then obviously there's a huge rivalry anyway between Liverpool and Man United.
So how do you go from football to wrestling?
Oh, that's a big jump.
That's quite a big jump.
That's a really big jump.
How long was that? Was it a long journey?
To become a wrestler?
Yeah, I mean, how did you find it? Yeah, how did you get to it?
I always loved it. As a kid, I used to stay in inner city Dublin. I had my grandmother and my grandaunt was there. And where we were at the time, we only had 2 channels. We had RT1 and RT2. We didn't even have the 4, Channel 4, BBC 1, BBC 2, and ITV. So anytime I'd be in there, wrestling would be on Saturday mornings. I used to watch World of Sport.
Yeah.
That's how it started.
I think wrestling was on Saturday mornings though in England.
Yeah,
on ITV, yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be World of Sport.
That's right.
Biff Finley and
Great
who's there
music.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Regal Big Daddy,
Big
Giant
Daddy.
Haystacks, Kendo Nagasaki. All these British legends. So it's kind of started there. And my grandaunt used to absolutely no matter what was going on, she watched the wrestling, World of Sport, and I never seen her swear or anything. But when that wrestling was on, there was words coming out of her mouth that I was just I go home. What does that mean, Dad? What does that mean? He was shut up, don't say that word again. But she just got so wrapped up in it. And then WB came in, I think the late '80s. And then that was just a whole nother thing, right? Yeah. That's just this larger than life, these kind of giants in the ring, because you look at the World of Sport and they were great wrestlers and all, but when you look at it was kind of on the mold of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stallone, you know what I mean? It was kind of that image of those '80s American action stars. Yeah. So that's how I just got wrapped up in it, and then I just fell in love with the business. And I've always, in the back of my mind, it was always something I wanted to do. I was never good enough to play football, to be honest.
But you were always athletic, were you?
Semi-athletic, yeah. I still am.
Well, you must. I mean, of course you are. But as a
Depending
kid...
who you ask.
How tough is it physically for you to stay in shape? Yeah.
It's very, very tough, yeah. It's, so it's, for example, 17 years with the company. I've had torn my labrum. I've had a couple of concussions, obviously. I've got had some snapped tendons in my hand, and then the last thing was my neck. I've got stenosis, so it's basically where your spinal cord, or whatever, it just starts narrowing around the discs. So I took a bad fall last end of August 2023, and I thought it was done because I was doing all this rehab and stuff, and nothing was working. So ended up they basically got the equivalent of a soldering iron at 200 degrees Celsius, and they went in and they burned all the nerves in the back of my neck. And then about 2 months after that, then
it worked?
It worked, yeah. But for a while, I didn't think I was ever going to get back in the ring. I thought I was done, because I'm going into my 16th year now on TV. So, and I've just signed another 5-year deal there about 3 months ago. So,
congratulations!
Thank you very much. Wow. So that'll take me to my 50s.
I was going to say, into your 50s, that's pretty impressive for any athlete. But as physical as wrestling is, to go into your 50s, is that quite normal?
No, not really, no. In terms of longevity, I think a lot of the wrestlers now, a lot of the guys take a lot better care of themselves. Diet, the workouts that we do. My training now compared to when I first started has changed a lot.
What is it? Go on, take us through it.
So when I first started training, I was doing crazy, deadlifting 500 pounds. I was squatting 450, doing all these, and then, but overall that just kind of wears your body down, even if you didn't wrestle. So now I'm doing a lot more interval training. I do a lot more I don't go as heavy. I train smarter. I train. I'll do a lot of agility stuff. I'll do a lot of HIIT cardio, and then I'll do a lot of stretching and kind of yoga stuff. I'll do a cold tub. I'll do the sauna, hot and cold stuff to keep my inflammation down on my body. And I'll just try and just smarter. Before when I was younger, I used my ego a lot. I'd have to bench 350, but now I'm just light weights. And
what's the diet like?
Terrible right now.
When you're at your peak, what are we talking? Because people love to know a calorie total.
Yeah, so I got into kick about 4 years ago, and I was at 228 pounds. Okay. Now I'm about 260.
Okay. What's that in stone and pounds?
140 is 10 stones.
So would it be? I'd say it would have been down to about maybe 16 stone, 7, and then now I'm about close to 20, maybe 19 stone.
Gosh. You don't look at it. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's incredible. Okay, that's all muscle over there.
I hope so. Some of it.
What would me and Phil be like in the wrestling? Would you like?
Well, do
you remember the Bushwhackers?
Yeah.
I used to love the Bushwhackers.
I don't remember that.
Do you remember the Bushwhackers? No, me and Phil could be the Bushwhackers, couldn't we?
This episode of It's Called Soccer is brought to you by Peloton. The football never stops, does it, nowadays? And trying to stay fit with my schedule is a big challenge. Now that's where Peloton can really make the difference. Whether you're squeezing in a strength class, which is my personal favourite, have to do it 5 times a week, in your lunch break, or need a quick running session just to clear your head, Peloton's variety keeps you on track. From recovery workouts to marathon prep, not for me quite yet, Peloton has programs and classes that will help you meet any goal in any schedule. Plus, with the All Access membership, you can work out wherever you need to, at home, on the road, at a hotel, at the gym. Peloton is right there. And even if your team have had a bad weekend, Peloton's meditation classes are a great way of finding a bit of calm. Perfect if there are any FA Cup shocks coming your way this weekend. Find your push, find your power with Peloton at onepeloton.com.
What is the vibe? What is the camaraderie like within WWE between all of you? When you're all competing against each other, of course.
Yeah, that's the thing about it, right? So everybody there is obviously looking to be as successful as possible. Anyone who would, any type of drive is going to want to be as successful as possible in WWE. For me, I've done it all. There's only one thing I haven't done. That's the Intercontinental Championship, which when I win that, if I get a chance, I'm calling it the IC. The Intercontinental Championship curse. It's a curse, but because it's the one title I haven't held. But when I win that, the plan is the goal to get that and become the first ever Ultimate Grand Slam champion. But that's the only thing I haven't won. For me, I've achieved so much, and now I'm in that role of like helping the new talent come up. But I feel like I'm still as motivated and as passionate as ever. And when I see these new guys come in, it just like probably like you when you were at United, you know what I mean? Like when you had seen new talent come in, you don't want to bury them, right? You want to help them up. And then when you see them playing like with all that passion, it kind of brings out the passion in you. And that's the way I feel. Like right now, I'm in there with a guy called Ludwig. I'm in there with Braun Breaker. I was in there with Bronson. All these new talent coming in, just trying to like break through that, you know, make their name and make their kind of like start their own legacy. And for me, doing that and helping these kids, our kids are in their 30s, but some of them, but it just kind of keeps me going. It keeps me motivated. I love seeing them succeed, you know.
Who was your hero? So you got into it, but who was the person that you looked at and thought, I want to do that?
Macho Man Randy Savage. Do you remember him?
Yeah, absolutely.
To me, he was everything. Had Miss Elizabeth, had the robe, the promos were great, the glasses, like the over-the-top outfits. That was the one when I first saw it. That was one where I was like, he just right away caught my eye and just sucked me in.
But how'd you get there? How'd you actually even get into it to a point where, how'd you break into where you got to?
I think it's a lot easier now.
To get into it?
Yeah. I mean, it's still hard. Listen, when you want to make the cut, it's still very, very difficult. But I mean, to get noticed, for me, I started an independent promotion in Ireland called Irish Whip Wrestling. And then I went over back and forth to the UK. That's where Drew McIntyre, remember we brought him to the show. He picked Man United when Liverpool beat United 4-0.
Just to wind him up.
Just to wind him up, yeah. Was it 4-0 on that one?
Yeah.
Do repeat it again? Ask a third time.
I'm just making sure, Rebecca.
Might be 5, yeah.
So met him, and then, you know, we organised a couple of dark matches or tryouts. So, like, actually, believe it or not, the first major tryout I had was at the Manchester Evening News Arena in November '06. So twice a year, WWE did TVs in the UK. They do one, I think, at the beginning of the year, like just after Mania in April. They do it in the O2. They used to do Earl's Court, but then they went to O2. And then the latter half of the year would be in Liverpool or Manchester or Newcastle or Sheffield or Glasgow. So
it's like an audition, is it, to try and get in?
Yeah. You got to go in and you got to like show the agents and everybody like what you have, and it's very intimidating because you're standing in the ring, thinking you know everything, but you know you still have a lot to learn. But you're in the ring, and then you have the entire talent just standing outside the ring. Everybody that you watched on TV just watching you. I mean, there's literally nothing more intimidating than like I remember when I did it was like Undertaker was there, John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Batista. You know, you had like everybody just watching in the ring. So you're in the ring. There's no crowd, obviously. There's no audience because it's before doors, and it's just the senior roster around you. I'm just like, oh man, it's just the most.
You said agents then, because is it the agents that sign you then get you into the? Because I mean, I have a thing about agents in football controlling the market. Is it the same in?
No, I mean agents. So we call them agents, but they're called producers.
Okay.
So that was another term they use with an agent, but it's a producer.
That work for the company, you mean?
They work for the company.
Okay.
And normally they're former wrestlers themselves.
Okay.
They know what WWE are looking for.
So they're identifying basically the new talent.
Yeah. And even if you're not good, they're saying, can we mold this guy into someone that we want? Or can we train this person? Or you know, are they untrainable? Or is it worth our while? Because they want to know, like, especially then anyway, they want to know, is this person in the ring, is he worth our time to invest money into this to bring him to the next level? Or is it just, do we move on to the next guy or girl?
Sheamus, let's get on to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all know you're a massive Liverpool fan. You've come on a million FanFests with us. You're one of the main faces of the NBC FanFest, which is always so fun. I think it's the first one we did. It is. It's really good. From Boston to Philly to LA, you've done them all pretty much.
Nashville, yeah.
So I know a bit about you, but a lot of people watching may not in terms of your love for Liverpool. In terms of going and watching them, how hard is that now? You moved over here.
It's very hard. Like, you know, first of all, I do want to say this, though. I got the first FanFest we did in Boston. Was that the first ever one we did?
No, it wasn't the first ever one. We did New York and Washington before that and Miami,
okay.
But yeah.
Because
early doors, though, yeah.
I still get noticed for that one.
Do you really?
People have never watched wrestling before.
That entrance.
They're like, oh, you're the fella on FanFest.
Your entrance was legendary. In fact, they always are.
Well, you guys set it up now, in fairness. Whoever was working production for that made it.
It was good.
It was top notch.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. But yes, in terms of getting back there to Anfield or seeing them live, that's hard.
It's very hard because I'm based over here all the time, and because my schedule, as I said, we don't have an off season, so every week we're on the road. Like we're always traveling back and forth. So it's really, really hard. It's very difficult. But like I went to Philly for the match with Arsenal. That was at the Eagle Stadium.
The pre-season.
So, yeah, we drove down there. So I'll get them to see over here. But the last game I think when I saw Liverpool was the Newcastle game when we won 2-1. But I think that was 2 years ago. And then before that, I was there for a Champions League game just before COVID when we lost was it Atletico Madrid, I think. And then, so I get over as much as possible.
So
and the
what
club
is
have been great to me.
And then how does your weekend work when you're travelling? Do you watch it on your phone? Yes, you get it on your
this bad boy right here.
So wherever you are, and is anyone else on the buses? Are they all watching Liverpool too, or is it just you on your own in the corner?
Yeah, me and JD McDonough. JD's another Irish lad, and he's kind of new to the roster. But me and JD are always texting. Like obviously Finn and Pete Dunne are big Spurs fans. You know, a lot of the guys, especially these guys from back home, they've got their own team and everything. Drew is from Ayr, Scotland, right? And he's a Glasgow Rangers fan. And he was on the FanFest when we were in
LA.
And then but when we had him out back in Nashville.
That's true.
And he just starts talking about Rangers. I said, mate, they're watching. It's the wrong
No
league,
one cares.
fella. It's the wrong league. He just loves talking about Rangers, I guess. But yeah, the phone has been great. Like since it went to NBC, it's been a godsend for all of us because we can just access it now every time. And I remember growing up in Ireland, my dad wouldn't pay for Sky Sports, right?
Yeah.
He says, "I'm paying for that."
Because I was on.
Huh? Yeah, because you were on. You wouldn't pay for it. Oh, no, I'm not playing for football. I'm paying for whatever. It used to be free on ITV. You can go see the FA Cup. So he wouldn't pay for it, right? So there was a time when it was on, and obviously it was free and then it was off. But now it's like we're spoiled over here.
I mean, more over here, right, than in England.
Every single game, it's unbelievable. Like every league game is either it's on USA or Peacock, and you have full access to it. It's just like it's a dream, like for any football fan. Isn't it? It's great.
Are you happy this season?
I'm very happy.
You must have been worried when... I mean, I didn't have Liverpool in the top four this season, which, to be fair, Carragher keeps telling me. I generally thought you would not fall off the edge of a cliff, but I just thought you'd struggle with no Klopp.
Yeah, like I really didn't know what to expect. Like I remember waking up one morning and I saw that Klopp had just announced that he was leaving, and everyone was just freaking out, and I wasn't. Like I knew every era has to come to an end,
Yeah. And
then he's going out on his own terms. I get that. I really didn't know what to expect, especially with no signings, and I hadn't really heard much about this Arnie fella. So I didn't know anything about him, But the thing for me is too, I guess, it just depends where you come from. Like you talk to me about when you were a United fan, right? And then in the '80s, right? I remember. Everyone says that. Like I remember watching that FA Cup final with United and Palace.
Oh, don't. Can we not? In 1990.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you're a Palace fan.
Oh.
And I remember 3-3. It was unbelievable. Probably one of the best FA Cup finals I've ever seen.
It
was. It was incredible. And then like the Lee Martin goal, the replay. And I was thinking, everyone's like, well, he saved, Ferguson's job, right? But I was there when Liverpool were just, Liverpool. I remember one time as a kid, and Liverpool had lost 4-1 to Southampton at the Dell, and I was just like, the whole world is falling apart. How could this happen? But then, I went through that when the Dalglish, the Souness stuff. I went through that period where it was crap, So I've been down and been up, so I've seen a lot of it. So when people's like, the Klopp era is going to end, every era has to end. I wasn't too worried, but I didn't really expect too much from the season. I think that's why everyone's kind of like just so happy because I think it's gone beyond expectations.
This episode of It's Called Soccer is brought to you by Huel. It is a brand new year and we're all setting ourselves goals and actually trying to hit them. What you fuel your body with matters, and that's where Huel comes in. It's perfect for when you're short on time but want something nutritious that keeps you going, and it keeps those New Year's resolutions on track, by the way. Huel's Black Edition Ready to Drink is the ultimate meal on the go, all in one bottle. It's high in protein, low in sugar, and packed with all the nutrients you need to perform at your best. Now, my personal favourite flavour, hard to choose, I always go with vanilla, but there's a whole range to try, and they taste great, like a milkshake without the guilt. There's no prep, no cooking, and you get 35 grams of protein and 26 essential vitamins and minerals. It's perfect for those chaotic mornings, busy days at the office, or when I need lunch on the move. Start your year off strong with Huel, the ultimate meal on the go. Right now, new customers can try it for 15% off, plus a free gift using our exclusive code ICS at huel.com/ICS. That's 15% off plus a free gift for new customers with a code ICS at huel.com/ICS.
How much has the Premier League, do you think, infiltrated over here?
I came over here in 2007. Football itself was, I think it was get paid to watch again, one of those channels. In the last 10 years, it's incredible. I'm walking down the street and people go, "Sheamus, you never walk alone."
Do they really?
Yeah.
What do they say to you, Gary?
You will walk alone. We need to stop that, don't we?
It's incredible. Like, it's just incredible. The last 10 years, I have not seen. And then look, those FanFests that we do.
Yeah.
There's so many people. Like, there's so many clubs. All the pictures you get from all over the country. Different, like they're having their babies dressed up and dogs dressed up and like different. It's great. It's completely taken over. And then obviously that itself, with the MLS stuff that's going on, like Nashville SC and all, that place is packed all the time. So just football has totally taken over. Like it's in here now, and it's not going anywhere.
I must admit, the idea of waking up at 7:30 in the morning, I'd love that on a Saturday morning, to wake up and have a football match there, and then until 2 o'clock, and then have the rest of the day. That'd be absolutely perfect.
It's incredible. I love it. I get up like you get, especially in Nashville. It's another hour behind, and you get up at 5:30 in the morning, and you're up, and all the games are over by 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock, right? It's just, so you have the whole day, as opposed to like 9, 10 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah, and it's not just expats. It's not just like yourself or like me. It's American people who have discovered something new in their life for a Saturday and a Sunday morning that is just something brand new for them to kind of. There's a big camaraderie. You go to the pubs and clubs from each. The Liverpool clubs in Nashville, the Liverpool pubs in California. There's so many. It's like a thing now. It's just like a kind of a. It's not niche, is it?
No, and then look at New York, right? There's obviously you have Carragher's bar, and then there's a couple of Man United bar, and there's a lot of bars around the city.
Do United fans go in these bars, or is it pure Liverpool fans that will be in these bars?
No, I've seen United fans in there. They all mix. Okay. There's no.
But there's no trouble, is there? That's what we always talk about at FanFest. That's what's so incredible. You'll have
him out.
Liverpool
There'd be trouble if he was in there.
There is. Every time he turns up, there's trouble.
Listen, don't get me wrong. I get a load of stick as well being a Liverpool fan, especially from City fans. And like if we do lose to United or whatever, I'll hear about it. I'll hear about it on Twitter, and I'll hear about it like randomly walking down the street or whatever. But yeah, there's so many bars now with their own supporters clubs. Even in Nashville, there was one, there was Liverpool one, then there was a United one not too far from us. There's a United one called the Lost Paddy. So an Irish lad, he used to work over, he used to live in, he obviously moved over, went to California, and then he's back in Nashville. But he's got a huge United supporters, but got jerseys on the wall. He's got all the United logos, everything, So like, there's definitely it's just an example. Like in Nashville, like who would have thought 10 years ago you'd have Liverpool and Manchester United supporter bars,
and it's in every single city, every single one.
Which football player would you choose to be the most likely person that could go and be in the WWE?
Do you want to do this era, or can we do a past era as well?
You can do any era.
All right, so I'd say for this era, obviously Van Dijk, obviously. But I always thought, like, if I look back, let's say Liverpool, 80s, 90s, I'd say Steve McMahon would have been a great.
Steve McMahon?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was a dirty bastard. I want to see some of those tackles, man. He would have lasted 2 seconds on the pitch these days.
Obviously, everyone has names, WWE names, which you need. when you come out and then there's a song and everything. I feel like Gary should have a name.
Oh, chewing a mouthful of bees, Neville.
Yeah.
Do you know,
Waspy Gary. Oh no, that means something else. I think these days.
there was a very famous manager called Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Okay.
And I think in the environment, if we're in an environment, I think his nickname was the Weasel, and I think Gary.
The Weasel, Gary the Weasel Neville.
I think it'd be great, man. I think he'd lean into that.
To be fair,
and just become the new
I'll
Weasel.
take that because most Liverpool fans call me the Rat, so it's like Gary the Rat Neville. Weasel's a massive upgrade.
Yeah, Weasel's great.
That might be missing. Okay, so if you've got the Weasel, out he comes. I feel like the Weasel needs to learn a little bit about what it would be like if he was on the end of Sheamus. Like, the Weasel needs to feel WWE.
He's just nearly booted me in the head once. You want him to have another go?
A little bit of contact.
Before we go to that, I just want to do something. Did you? One of the highlights I had a couple of highlights in Manchester, right?
Okay.
Just for Gary. One of the major highlights I had was obviously my first ever proper tryout with the company. The second time was when, there's actually 3 times. The second time was when I wrestled a guy called Roman Reigns.
Yep.
And I sang "You'll Never Walk Alone."
Yep.
And have you seen that?
No.
Oh, I've seen it.
That was probably one of the highlights of my career. And the last time was when we won the tag titles with Cesaro. We had these kilts, right, and these jackets, and we walked out, and we're wrestling we're wrestling Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, but we basically had the full Liverpool kits on underneath our gear, and no one copped it. So we went up on the top rope, we pulled it down, took off the jacket and the kilt. The place went mad. They were throwing bottles at me. They were throwing they were screaming profanity at me. It was probably the great, literally one of the funnest TVs I've ever done in my life. I love going to Manchester. I love it.
Thank you.
It's good crack.
It's a beautiful place.
I love winding people up. It's the best, especially in the business. You know what I mean? It's just.
Well, the Weasel's waiting.
Oh, what's he waiting for? The move?
I
All
think-
right.
The Weasel's
waiting.
waiting.
This is going to catch on, by the way. I might have to introduce you tomorrow morning on
The
NBC.
Weasel's
Welcome
great.
along.
So come
Weasel
here.
Neville.
Do you watch wrestling at all, Gary?
I've watched it, yeah.
Let's say, for example, you want to be WWE superstar, right? And you're the Weasel, right? You've been given that name, right?
It's a good one. I think it's getting better actually every time I hear it.
Keep saying it. She loves it.
Amazing.
So what type of character? What type of character?
Oh, I'd be a
would you
Weasel,
wanna
wouldn't I?
be?
I mean, it'd be
Yeah.
one that everyone dislikes. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
anything else. I mean,
I think you'd be great at the promos.
couldn't be popular.
No, you wouldn't be. You might have a small little pocket of fans
yeah.
who
Almost-
obviously go against the grain, and I appreciate your
They bring something to
Your
the party.
ability.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you also need people. You need Weasels. You can't have everybody being nice. You know what I
No,
mean?
you can't. That's what we lacked. I'm serious. The one thing you need is a great antagonist, a great villain. Like we have one right now in WWE. There's a guy called Ludwig Kaiser, and he just the fans hate him,
Yeah, that's me.
and he's just being him, and they cannot stand him. He's got that smirk look in his face. Same type of haircut as you. Same type of comb over you have, or semi-comb over there. And they just don't like him at all. You know what I mean?
But I never liked being liked. I always think that, to be fair, if you shouldn't be liked as a successful football player. I mean, I know that people like David Silva, there are exceptions. So David Silva at City, a brilliant player. Everyone likes him, respects him. Scholes was like that at United. Everyone loved Paul Scholes. But people didn't like most of the United team at that time. Yeah, I was disliked.
Breaking
lot.
news.
I was the Weasel was disliked.
Seamus, please.
You want okay?
Please.
So
I can't wait any longer.
all right, okay. So
You just want him to slam me.
no.
I didn't say slam.
I think for someone like you, obviously, you're not the strongest
Wow. Weak
or
Weasel.
most athletic. I'm not saying. I'm just saying, we gotta.
Yeah.
So I think what you could concentrate on you as a character would probably be something like more of a technical wrestler. Like, again, your English rights are World of Sport style, so you'd be considered to be a technical wrestler because that's the pure form of wrestling. From
Would I not be scratching people's eyes, doing illegal moves, behind the scenes and stuff, doing stuff that's a little bit unpopular? So, you know what I mean? You would, wouldn't you?
You'd start that way, but you'd use that to get an advantage. Like, you're not going to win a match by scratching someone's eyes out. You'd probably use that to, if the guy's slapping you around a bit, you'd probably use something like underhanded, like a Weasley thing to kind of take advantage of the situation. So I'd say maybe a technical move if you want me to show you something that you could
let's
use.
just have a look just to see. Just don't do it for real, obviously. Seamus.
not going to enjoy this, am I?
Just lie on the ground there, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Are they new shoes, yeah? What are they? Jesus, he's wearing Dolce & Gabbana.
Massive
Don't
time.
give
Sheamus, finish him off, Sheamus.
Finish me off.
Weasel in Dolce &
Dolce &
Gabbanas.
Gabbana shoes.
The Weasel's got Dolce & Gabbana on.
Are you serious?
It's
Did you
unreal.
buy them yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
I was feeling sorry. I was feeling like sorry for your fly's open, by the way. There.
Oh,
yeah,
crikey.
Zip it up there, man. Jesus. What are you doing on that?
The Weasel.
All right. This is PG, right?
Yeah.
All right, so
Fine.
what you want to do?
What's
God.
going on here?
You know, I wanted to do this for like since I was probably 12, 14 years old. I say, you want to relax there, will you?
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
Just relax the knee there, yeah. So you want to? This is called.
Oh God.
This is called the clover leaf, right? So what you want to do is come over. Relax.
I'm heavier than you think, by the way.
Okay, put your relax your back, yeah. Turn it over. See? Like that, see that? Huh? Now say Liverpool are gonna win the league! Say it, Gary! Say it! Say it, Liverpool are number one! Say it, Gary! Say it! Say it! There you go! All right, Gary. You're grand.
God,
Here,
the
look.
Weasel.
Good. They didn't vacuum the carpets good enough this morning.
That in the
There you
Dolce
go.
& Gabbanas might have been the moment of the first season.
That
That was brilliant.
Here, hang on. Look. Does Roy Keane know you wear these? Look at that.
Did that hurt?
No, my neck was a little bit. No wonder you broke your neck.
Okay.
Jeez.
Sheamus.
What'd you pay for them?
Oh, I don't know that much. Do the sale.
That's brilliant. They're the same.
Knocked off off the high street early.
Seamus, that is pretty much how I wanted to end the interview.
See, the thing
I'm
about
not gonna
Rebecca
lie.
is she loves it. She's like, you know, she's
I go
real
on.
nice, smiling, having a great time. Butter wouldn't melt in
The
her mouth.
assassin.
She's a proper weasel.
She is. I love her. She's great.
Oh, Seamus, thank you so much for joining us.
Are we insured?
I
She
don't
get
know.
all
but
our to do it again.
If that isn't going viral, I don't know what is.
Oh man, this is great crack. I know I wanted to be here last time, but I had to go wrestle. But
No worries. Thank you for coming so much. Honestly,
you.
it's brilliant on It's Called Soccer having Seamus on the show. Come back literally any time.
I would love to come back. Honestly, again, just thanks for leading having the football on every week. I love it. I love the chemistry you have at Carragher. It's great crack just seeing it. Like, you know what I mean? The both of you just having the banter. That's what it's all about, I think. That's what really people see now with football is like the two rivals going at it, having the crack, slagging each other off. And I think that the kind of friendship that you guys have kind of like developed and on TV, that's what people want to see.
It
They
is.
want to see the lads have
Yeah.
the crack. They want to see people slagging each other off when their team isn't doing well. I think that epitomises what football's all about. So, thanks for having me on. This is great crack.
Brilliant. Well done.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Seamus.
So great to catch up with Sheamus there. That's about all we've got time for this episode of It's Called Soccer, brought to you by Peloton. Find your push, find your power with Peloton. Now, next week, Jamie, Gary and I will be back with another really special interview, this time with actor Peter Sarsgaard. We're going to talk all about his love of soccer and also the movie that he is starring in, coming out soon. I've seen it, it's really good. September 5. Until then, please continue to subscribe, YouTube, Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we will see you next week.